What is going on, guys? DBG here, and today we are going to be talking about something in my team that the one thing I'm actually kind of passionate about. I get the rest of the stuff, you're going to hear me playing up to the camera. But there's a certain narrative that I am seeing out of people in 2K, in the 2K community right now, that I think we need to put a stop to it. Because we can all have preferences, we can, but the only argument against what has happened that I've seen, realistically, that is a possible, if people are listening to people going against this, what we're going to see is just more push towards child gambling, which is the big issue I always have with this game. I think of all things in all of these, and again, guys, I really do apologize about the hair. I'm literally just out of the shower. I play basketball for the first time in 8 months. I'm on a freaking high just to get a ball again, pass it around a little bit, run a little bit. It was I'm slow. I'm playing at a low level so I don't have to run, but I'm just happy to be back playing. But lads, what we're going to be talking about right here is this. So, you can see this, Paul George for 200k, $50. Is that a lot of money for a card? Yeah, sure. And the argument of being oh, these cards are way too expensive, they need to be cheaper. And I do agree. I thought he was going to be 300k. That's 22 off him. So he's around 400k. I thought he was going to be 300, he's around 400. So, first of all, what is the alternative? Because these games are not going to be free. So the alternative to this situation is Paul George being in packs. It is. The card's not going to be free. The first opal is not going to be free. They're not putting out a card it's free in Black Friday packs. So let's just say the alternative is that he's in packs. So everyone being the card should be $30. I don't make the price. The price, let's be real. The way the world works is a price that people are willing to pay. Again, you can make an argument that it's too expensive, that it shouldn't be almost the price of the game. Fine. I understand that argument. You don't have to buy Paul George. OG Anunoby's there. But, the fact that people are making that argument, and, I get the logic for it. I get the argument. But, 2K is a for-profit company. We can't forget that. These companies are going to be making what's in the best interest for their pockets at the end of the day. They're going to be making decisions based on what's going to make them the most money. And if the $50 price tag was too high, I just wouldn't see it. If nobody was buying these cards, first of all, there'd be very few on the auction house. But if no one was buying Paul George at $50, then they wouldn't be able to do it for $50. This is a tradable card, so you at any stage can liquidate it to MT. You can do whatever you want with it. Last year, when we had the guaranteed toppers, where you could choose your topper, those were 300,000. Those cost a lot of money. When it was guaranteed tradable pink diamond, those were 300k with packs. And a lot of people are oh, but they gave you packs as well. But okay, they let you gamble as well as giving you the card. Now you can just get the card. But an alternative is, if you don't like this situation, and one of the really, really annoying things is that a lot of people I saw come out with the argument of, it doesn't matter, I would rather have just seen him in packs. But if Paul George, he's still in packs, by the way. You can still get Paul George in packs, but if you don't want to gamble, you don't have to now. The first opal that came out, we look at last year's first opals. 800k for LeBron. This is at Christmas, by the way. This is at a stage when pink diamonds are 50, 40k. First opal, 600, 700k LeBron. 600, 700k Steph Curry. First opal today, 400k, because there's more of a supply. It's all about supply and demand. There's such a big supply of Paul George that it's cheaper for everybody. So I'm going to list all the people that what happened today is good for in general. And because again, you can make the argument that it should be cheaper. You can literally make that, I get the argument for people being oh, it's too expensive, it's nearly the price of the game. Okay, fine. But you can literally make the argument of the price to join a basketball club is 100 quid, but the shoes are 150 quid to play the sport. If there's certain, I'm trying to think, tennis. Tennis is the best example. To buy a good tennis racket might cost you 200 quid, which might be more than the cost of joining a club. We look at it in that logic, and we all actively choose to play my team. And I can't stress that enough. We actively choose to play this specific game mode. like the price of the game of 2K actually offers more than other years, because my NBA is like a completely new mode. There's actually more on offer for free than there was even, say, back in. I'm not going to say back in the day pre-MyTEAM, pre-microtransactions, because it's probably not, but it's at a similar level. There are alternatives. You definitely don't want to spend any money. And if you don't want to spend any money on MyTEAM, there are alternatives as well. Like, go get yourself OG Anunoby. Genuinely do. Genuinely go get yourself OG. Because OG is like, you're not going to be able to tell that much of a difference between OG Anunoby and Paul George. So what I'm going to say right now is, Paul George, and look, video games are inherently pay or grind to win, the way these type of games are gone. And we're not going to look at this full utopia of it being ethical. It's just not going to be the case. Everyone uses MLB The Show. MLB The Show has so few players that they can do it. For example, if, like, you can sacrifice money if the money, like, these companies can sacrifice money if the money's small. Hence why when EA brought in NBA Live Ultimate Team, they made so little money out of it that they just gave out everything for free, because the amount of money they would be making by getting people to pay microtransactions is so insignificant that they might as well just get the players on. Like, 2K and EA's games, or on Madden and my Ultimate Team, are just too big games to do that with, because the money is too large and we can't expect any different. But what we can hope for is a more ethical way of offering microtransactions, and I feel like this is the case. I feel like this is as ethical a way of making microtransactions as possible. Would I rather see these cards not be in the game and everything be free? Obviously, yeah, but that's not going to happen. If you are someone who doesn't want to spend money, there's so many good options. You don't have to. And one thing I will say with this is that I'll tell you guys why I bought the card. Why I personally bought the card. And not even for content. Why I think that I would buy this card. I play this game a lot. I get a lot of enjoyment. I get my $60 worth out of this game. I put in thousands of hours every year. I get my $60 worth. I don't like spending extra money, and I don't think you should have to. Which you don't. Like, I could make a no money spent account in, like, and I'm going to do it for start of season 3, and grind some of these Tuesday takeovers, grind some moments cards when they're there, and make a good squad in 2 weeks. Like, you can. At this stage, you can. But for me personally, I've put the time in. I kind of wanted Noble. I'm so checked out of trophy case grind that, is it being blinded by overalls? Maybe. I just wanted to get it. I just wanted to make a purchase for a game that I enjoy playing. What's wrong with that? And $50 versus me spending, and a lot of people are like, oh, you can just get around opals for free. That's like 25 hours. And of those 25 hours, I enjoy playing one specific mode, and it's MyTEAM Unlimited. I would enjoy, say, maybe, what am I talking about 25 hours? Sorry, 60, 70 hours. And of those 60, 70 hours, I'll enjoy 10 hours. So would I rather put myself towards 60 hours of misery playing a video game, or just take a shortcut? I'll take the freaking shortcut. I'll buy a product. I'll buy the product. Like, if that's a case of me being morally wrong for that, like, why does anyone own an iPhone instead of a freaking Xiaomi Redmi Note 3? Why do people buy $100 Ridge wallets instead of Amazon $5 wallets? Like, that's just the way it kind of is. I made a choice with my money, and people did make a choice with their money. But at the same time, from the perspective of other people, that there's nothing wrong with everyone having Paul George, by the way, because he's not that good. There's now, if you don't pay VC, instead of Paul George being 1.4 million MT, Paul George is 400k. So he is an entire million cheaper than he would have been had this not been a thing. So there's more supply, more people have access to him. So you can't even use the argument of the card being like, oh, it's pay to win, because if you don't spend money in this game, you actually now have a better chance of getting Paul George than you did before. And also, OG Anunoby is equally as good. Like, let's be real, OG Anunoby is freaking God. Like, that card right there, I would be like, he's just God. He's just insane. He's maybe better than Paul George. And the fact that the alternative, if they're going to give us opals right now, the alternative to what we saw right now is Paul George being in these packs right here and being pulled at a rate that is so tiny that no one would ever see him, and it would be 1.4 million. So I don't know. Maybe I think that there's one way of looking at it, and it's a certain part of the community completely gatekeeping, because now more people than ever are getting access to the first Galaxy Opal because there's more of them on the market. More people are getting to play with the card. There's a lot of gatekeeping guys that spend thousands and thousands and thousands on packs, and if you let's just say they do 10 of these throughout the year, and you get maybe the best player in the game with each of these. You spend 500. Look, it's a lot. It's a hell of a lot of money. Trust me, I would not advise. I don't even advise anyone to get Paul George. I don't advise anyone to do it. I would say, if you're asking me what you should do, it's go get OG Anunoby. Go with OG Anunoby. I don't advise anyone to buy this card. But it's a better alternative than having to gamble to get the card. That is the point that we're trying to make. For everyone that wants the card, you can get him. You can get him now. You can either spend the money. If you don't have the money, you guys can try earn the MT. He'll be down at like 250k post quals. He'll be down 250k in a few days. You guys can try earn the card through your own means. Or if you don't want to do that, you can get great alternatives. So like nobody is going behind if you don't have Paul George. But it's just an option there that doesn't involve gambling. And there's one narrative that I'm seeing from a lot of people. And there is multiple people. I'm not going to name any names because I don't want to, because I like a lot of these people. And it is a more and more prevalent argument that I actually saw an argument, and I want to make sure that I'm not misquoting. I'm not misquoting the argument, but a lot of people made the argument specifically that Paul George, they don't like Paul George being guaranteed because selling a card for dollars doesn't sit right. The gambling / opening packs aspect is fine because you get what you pay for, the thrill, hit or miss. And that is a quote that I've seen. But I've seen so many people talk about this sentiment now that people are legitimately pro-gambling in sports games. There is a section of the community that are pro-gambling, that will admit it's gambling and say it's a good thing that we can gamble for cards. I think that is a freaking cancer to the gaming community. I think that is the worst thing. And again, nobody's right or wrong. We all have different reasons for things. I don't think anyone's right or wrong in this argument. Everyone has their reasons for things. Some people might enjoy gambling more, and that's fine. If you want to gamble for your Paul George, go and gamble for your Paul George. If you want to gamble for a product you can already have, by paying for packs where you can maybe get the card and more. If you want to gamble and you're over the age of 18, gamble. But when an alternative is placed there for people that don't want to gamble to get a card without gambling, the fact that they don't have to gamble can't be seen as a freaking negative. It just can't. So, do I think that it's great that people are spending more money on the game because of this? Probably. No, of course not. Do I think that you have to buy Paul George? No. Do I think that you are going to be behind if you don't have Paul George? No. Get OG Anunoby. It's like 2 hours of playing the game. Do I think it should be like for some people almost a day worth of their post-tax money to get Paul George? No, it's not. But if we're making the argument of the price factor, there is not a single company in the world that is going to price anything at a lower price when people will buy it at a higher price. So if you don't think this card's worth $50, there is a great solution. You don't have to pay $50 for it. Like, that is a great solution. And if that is the prevailing thought and the prevailing majority, and people just aren't buying this, the price will go down. But for me, it is personally worth $50. $50 for me to just get an opal and have a little bit of fun. Even if it's not for content, I would strongly consider it. Because, sure, will the card be outdated? Sure. I just like using Paul George. I get more than $50 worth of enjoyment out of this game. I spend thousands of hours every year. So I have absolutely no issue throwing a little bit of money. What I do have an issue is gambling. Pack opening is the easiest. Pack openings are the easiest content ever for reviews. I feel sick making pack opening videos. But there are times where content is low, where money's low, where I just kind of have to make this content. But now, with this being a thing, I can put money in and just feel, you know what? I am purchasing a product from a company. And I'm okay with it. I'm okay with DLC. I'm okay with microtransactions. I'm okay with it because we have a choice to buy it or not to buy it. I made the choice to buy this. There are a lot of these cards that I won't buy. Like, I bought the Shades of players. I didn't buy any of the Takeover players. I'm not going to buy any of the Amethysts. There are certain situations, no matter what price they throw, I just don't want to buy them. I'm not putting real money in. But for me, it was worth it. For me, it was worth it. Kareem, I would actually say in hindsight, Kareem probably wasn't worth it. I regret spending $50, but I did it. I got enjoyment out of it. But Paul George is worth it. I want an opal. I want an opal. Again, being a little bit of an overall snob, I do kind of want an opal. It's a cool thing. And to get an opal, I can either slog away and spend 50 hours playing this game, or I can drop a little bit of money. And I made the choice to drop a little bit of money. You can look down on me for making that choice. Okay. I made a choice to buy something that I felt was worth it personally for me, for my enjoyment. And I would hope if anyone else bought this, they made that choice. I don't think anyone should ever feel pressured into doing this. In an ideal world, you know what you do? You go, in an ideal world, if you don't want anything to do with microtransaction, everything being for free, there is actually a great game mode for that. And this is not like go play something else. This is in like, if that is something you're like really struggling with, is like maybe feeling like you're needing to spend money. First of all, there are so many alternatives like OG Anunoby, who's the easiest example. But if you're still struggling with an OG Anunoby, and you're still kind of being like, oh crap, these have opals, trust me, the tiers don't mean anything. But if you do really just want a great free experience, and this is not a knock on my team, this is not a go play something else, this game mode is such a great free experience. It really is. This is such, like, my NBA is such a good mode. This year, the eras, it's such a great free single player experience. And if you are someone that is trying not to spend money on my team, like, I'll start my nobody spend squad in a few weeks. Like, you really can. If you want to watch Henry series, there's really good. Like, we've gotten locker codes, we've gotten opportunities. If you complete some challenges, while you're not gonna, the pink diamond locker code is pointless. Go season 1 takeoff players. Go get that pack. Go get yourself Mitchell. You've won the best point guards in the game. Go get yourself Kemp. You got one of the best small forwards in the game. There are so many like alternatives in this game that just certain people having the option whether or not to buy a card cannot be seen as a problem, because the alternative, the card being gatekept for all but a select minority of people that spent more money. So you might be saying $50 is too much. If this card was in packs, 1.4 million, you're just not getting the card. And also, you could spend $2,000 on packs and not get this guy. I think $50 from guaranteed, rather than having to spend 200,000 or two grand to potentially not get him, is a good alternative. I really think it is. And the fact that I'm seeing so many legitimate pro gambling narratives being pushed by the 2K community is worrying. It is worrying because this is a game that is for everybody. This is like kids, and like is it a money grab? Maybe, but they're a for-profit company. Literally everything in our world is a money grab. iPhones are money grabs. Every single product, if I ever promote a product to you guys, it's still a money grab. Their advertising budget goes somewhere. They have to have profit margin somewhere. Everything in life is a money grab. And this, not only, it probably is a money grab, but it is one of the easiest money grabs to ignore. For the people that do want to engage with and do want to pay, it's a net positive. People who do want Paul George and have a million MT but no VC and don't want to spend money, it's a net positive, because now you can get Paul George, and you can get Paul George without going broke. As well as that, the opal being in the game is tanking the market for a lot of pink diamonds. It is such a net positive. And the only people that this isn't a positive for, and even if you want to argue that it's too expensive, it's still not a negative. It's still not a negative for you guys. The only people that it's a positive for, like, the whole situation, you can argue shouldn't be too expensive, but in terms of the outlook of the game mode, is a positive for everybody except people that want to gatekeep cards. And not only people want to gatekeep cards, some people want to gatekeep cards by how long you spend grinding for them, and that is a little more understandable. Some cards being way easier to grind for the end of the seasons, like level 40. I don't necessarily agree with it, but it's an understandable logic to have. Why complain that you grind so hard and other guys get it so easy at the end of the year? But at the same time, the people that are really complaining are some of the ones that want the game gate kept by dollar amount. And even though you might make the argument saying this makes it more pay to win, this in fact makes the game less pay to win. Because if you're not spending money, you now have a chance of getting Paul George. Sure, the people that spend money have Paul George, but when there are such a small supply and so many people are able to get Paul George, and the only people that are able to get Paul George are people with big bucks and spend hundreds and thousands on packs every week, this in fact makes the game less pay to win. And like, it not only makes the game less pay to win, it's more ethical, because you know what? If a kid gets a $50 voucher and they want to put it on the game, they no longer have to buy packs. They can just get the damn cards. If they want to use the best cards, you can pay for it. I think it's a much better alternative to having to gamble. The only thing I'm massively against is gambling. This is an absolute ramble. I'm making the same videos over and over again, but I will stress it to the moon. When I think positively of something, I will be equally as vocal as when I think negatively about something in this game. And I think this is a huge, huge step in the right direction. This is a huge positive. There are very few ways it's a negative. You can definitely criticize the price point. You're well within your right to criticize a lot of things, but to say that there's literally any negative impact on the game mode caused by this one specific thing is objectively wrong. And if you make any argument to the totality of the game mode being made worse by people not having to gamble to get the first Galaxy Opal, I will argue you and I will win that argument. So anyway, that's the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.